All right, and so we are here this evening for the emotional energy healing session, and we're going to be talking about clearing emotional baggage with the emotion code technique. So before we dive into it, I would just like to invite you guys to just relax a little bit. We're going to start with a little group meditation and intention setting to amplify the energies of love and healing. So I'm going to just go ahead and mute you both. If you have questions or comments, you can definitely type those in the chat, or I believe there's a little way like to raise your hand. We can do that as well. So I'm just going to go ahead and mute you now, but like I said, feel free to like ask any questions.
Okay.
Okay. So like I said, we're going to start with a little group meditation. So I just invite you to just relax, take a few deep breaths, and just really notice the weight of your body on the chair. Tune into your body and your breath, and you can close your eyes if you'd like. And just take a few deep breaths to allow yourself to be fully present in the moment. Approaching energy healing from a place of relaxed alertness is always really good. It really helps the body, it helps the nervous system to really process the shifts and the changes in the energy. And so if possible, just continue to take deep breaths. You might want to inhale through your nose and exhale through your mouth. And as you breathe, you can just gently urge yourself to let go of any thoughts or feelings that you're carrying with you from earlier today. And allow yourself to let go of any thoughts or feelings of what you need to do later. And just bring your awareness, your consciousness into the present moment. You may whisper a prayer of gratitude or appreciation for your breath and your presence, and any other thing that you can muster the desire to feel grateful for in the moment. I invite you to draw your attention to the bottoms of your feet and just notice they're firmly planted on the ground. And allow the sensation to help you to feel grounded and centered and balanced within yourself. And just take a couple more breaths in the space. And then when you're ready, you can open your eyes. Okay. So tonight we're going to very briefly talk about the technique that I'm going to use to do the energy healing session. The format for this group has actually changed quite a bit since the lockdown, and because we can't really meet in person, we had to sort of figure out how to make this group useful. And so instead of actually each person getting a chance to practice the technique themselves, what I'm going to do is I'm going to do the technique for the entire group. And then I've noticed that in doing that, it really does have an impact. We can discuss the things that we notice at the end of the session. But I just wanted to let you guys know that it will be more of an energy healing session for you guys as opposed to a practice session. And so the technique that I'm using tonight is called the emotion code. And it is one of the easiest tools that I've ever used for clearing emotional energy. Dr. Bradley Nelson is the person who basically brought this technique to us. He was a chiropractor in practice for about 25 years, and this technique came to him as he was helping his wife with some things and helping his clients with some things, and he began to use this technique. and found that many of the incurable conditions that his patients were coming to him with were being cleared just from using this emotional healing technique. So it's a very profound technique and it has a lot of applications. It's really about helping to release the trapped emotions that we carry. So in that little image there, you know, we all kind of know on some level that we're carrying these this baggage, resentment, guilt, shame, secrets, hangups, habits, whatever those things are, past traumas, all of that stuff. And what Dr. Nelson discovered as he was, you know, being given this information and using it within his practice was that the emotions literally are sort of like a quantum energy, and they do get lodged in the body. In traditional Chinese medicine, they talk about the different organs being the sources of our emotions. And so this, you know, goes back 5,000 years, that emotions are intrinsically a part of how our bodies work. And they do actually hold an energy. And so this energy can get trapped in the body, and over time it can cause physical damage to your body. Um, I've done, you know, lots of research on this, and even if you look at like the medical journals and stuff like that, and they talk about like how heart health, that, you know, emotional upsets are really create a big impact on the heart. And so you know, there's just a lot of good information out there about how the emotions really affect our bodies. And so when the emotions are not effectively released, the organs can be seriously injured. We can have, you know, of course, all kinds of stress, anxiety, depression, all those kinds of things can also be really related to this carrying of all this baggage. So with emotion code, with this practice, the more consistently you use it, the easier it becomes and the more automatic your results can be. I have been using the emotion code technique since 2014. I originally was guided to this material right after I received my Reiki attunement, the second Reiki attunement that I received. And it was really sort of almost like magical the way that this information kind of came to me. And I shared it with some of the other ladies that I was doing the Reiki with, and everybody was really like interested. And then I just started meeting other people who were also reading the book and who had found it recently. And it just all kind of seemed very synchronistic. And so I started just, you know, having a little group session once a week with my friends. And we just kept meeting week after week, and they invited their friends. And then, you know, more and more people started coming to this group. And so that was in 2014. I, you know, had to downsize it a little bit because I couldn't really manage doing it every week, just being the only facilitator. And so I started doing it once a month, and that's how this class came about. And so I just kind of felt like as long as there were people who were interested in coming to the group, I would keep doing it. I did take a break from it in 2020 just because my spirit kind of guided me to like step back from everything. And as we know, the crazy stuff that happened last year, you know, I felt like that was needed for me to kind of just be in my own little healing zone throughout the course of the year. So I'm really guided to come back with this information now and to share it. And so I'm really, you know, I'm really excited and happy to, you know, kind of be here and share this with you guys. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to walk you through the technique. It's a very, very simple technique, and I'm not going to have you guys practice the technique. Like I said, in this setting, it's a little bit difficult to actually do the practice. I will do it for you and for the group and for anyone who's watching this recording. The intention will be set that anyone who's going to watch this is going to receive the release of these trapped emotions. So, but the technique is very simple. It is based on muscle testing. So are you guys familiar with muscle testing at all? Not really? Yes, Stacy? Okay. So muscle testing, a lot of chiropractors or alternative practitioners will use muscle testing to help identify things that are positive or that the body is like agreeable to or that the body is disagreeable to. And so with this technique, it's basically that you can actually do traditional muscle testing with this, where you would hold your arm out and then your practitioner will push down on your arm to test the muscle strength or weakness with whatever it is. So if it's a substance or a thought form or whatever, there's going to be things that make us feel stronger and things that make us feel weaker. And so the same thing is true with a thought, a belief, or a feeling. And so instead of using the muscle testing that you would get in a doctor's office or a chiropractor's office, we're doing what's called the sway test. And that this is just the easiest for most people. A lot of, some people do find other ways of muscle testing that are easier, but for most people, the sway test is the easiest. It's the fastest way to kind of like get yourself into this. So the sway test is basically that you stand up, you become relaxed, you just kind of like allow yourself to be in that relaxed state. Take a few deep breaths, and then imagine yourself being grounded. Call in all of your own energy. So I always say to myself, I'm Crystal, and I'm calling in all of my own energy. I'm here, I'm grounded, I'm safe, so forth. And then you can clear your mind, because this is not a mental process. There's no thoughts that are really required, except we're going to be asking questions. And then you get a baseline by asking yourself a question or making a statement that's a yes for you. And so that statement or that question should make your body sway forward. This is a motion that we're doing all day long unconsciously. When something is positive or we like something, or someone says something interesting, we lean into it. And so this is the same process that we're activating consciously. And then we relax and say something that is a no for us. And then the body should gently sway backwards. And so this back and forth motion, like I said, it happens all day long. We don't pay attention to it, but in this process, we're getting to activate that on purpose. And then once we establish that baseline, then we can begin asking yes or no questions. And you can literally do this with anything. It's pretty cool once you learn and kind of start to trust your body's motions, that you can ask about, like, if a certain kind of food is beneficial for you, or if a vitamin, you can kind of ask those yes or no questions. And I find, over the years of doing it, it's very, very accurate. So this is the emotion code chart. This is the chart that Dr. Nelson came up with. And as you can see here, there's a series of yes or no questions. We're not going to go through it in much detail again today. I'm just going to go ahead and do the process and help you guys clear some trapped emotions. And again, for whoever's watching this on the replay as well. But so basically what we're doing with these yes or no questions, the first thing obviously is that we're going to ask, do I have a trapped emotion that I can release now? And sometimes it's not advantageous. It's not the time to release the emotion. These emotions are beneficial to your body in some ways. You may be in the middle of something very stressful, and this emotion is in your body field to protect you. It's there because your body's using it. So sometimes it's a no. Sometimes there's not a trapped emotion that you can release right now. But for the most part, it's usually people get a yes on that question. Okay, so then once we ask the question, do I have a trapped emotion? Basically what we're doing is we're just doing a process of elimination. So we're going to ask if it's in column A or column B. We'll get a yes or a no. And then we're going to do an additional process of elimination, asking if it's in an odd row or an even row. And then we're going to continue to narrow it down, asking yes or no, until we identify which emotion is coming up to be cleared. Now, Dr. Nelson, over the years of his practice, he identified these trapped emotions as being the primary ones, or the ones that, sort of cover the most ground with people. I've seen other similar charts that have been, expanded on by other practitioners. But for the most part, this is really like a really good basis for, really doing some good depth of work with this type of energy healing. So then once we identify that trapped emotion, then basically we're just going to ask if we can release that trapped emotion, and then we'll get a yes or a no. There may be some additional information that your unconscious or your subconscious wants to bring forward for you. And in that case, we continue to ask some additional questions to release. But at this point, as I'm going to do this for the group, it probably won't require a lot of questions. I will set the intention that whatever is needing to come up for everybody is going to come up and clear with very little effort. Okay. All right. So the releasing process has to do with the meridians. So we have a meridian that runs up the spine, and then we have one that runs up the front of the body. So these are the energy flows of the body, and this is where the trapped emotions can be released from. And the way we do the releasing is we use a magnetic roller, which I have right here. And this is a very high-powered bodywork magnet. It is designed to be used for body work. And so Dr. Nelson used this one, and then there's some smaller ones that can be used as well. But you don't have to use a high-powered bodywork magnet. You can use a refrigerator magnet. It still works. You don't have to invest in something like that. And so right now, what I will ask you guys to do is just to set an intention for tonight's session. So whatever it is that you're experiencing, whatever it is that you feel like you're ready to clear emotionally from your body field, be as specific as you can. I mean, what generally happens in this process is that your body knows what it needs to release. And when you do this type of work, some unconscious things just kind of like take a hold, and those things that are really needing to clear out first will definitely be released. But if you have some specific things, you can definitely set that intention as well. You can set this intention just for yourself or for the entire group. And you can sit or lay down for the session. And so whatever's comfortable for you, I'm going to ask you to just relax. The process will probably take about 20 minutes. I think we can probably clear everything for the group within 20 minutes. It might not take even that long. But so again, you're just going to relax. You can close your eyes. You can turn on some soft music if you want. But the idea is to just let yourself be in a very relaxed state. You want to stay conscious, try not to fall asleep, but just be as relaxed as you possibly can, and that's going to help to facilitate this. The other thing is that you need to be hydrated. So if you do need to get some water, feel free to get up and get some water, drink some water, and then, you know, that being hydrated is definitely going to help your body to process these emotions. Okay. So at this point, I will ask if there's any questions, if you guys have any questions or any comments about what I've shared so far. And you can go ahead and unmute yourself if you do. All right, I'm going to drink some more water.
I'm gonna go get some water real quick.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, you're very welcome. Okay, so just to let you guys know, after the session, it's up to you what you choose to do after the session, but what I really encourage people to do with energy healing, because it's so subtle, is to really kind of keep track. When you write these things down, you can go back to it and refer back to what you experienced. I noticed that when energy leaves the body field, it sometimes is so profoundly gone that we don't even remember it was there. So if you want to keep a journal, you can write down the emotions that we release. I will tell you what emotions come up at the end when we get finished. And then you can add any thoughts, memories, feelings, any physical sensations or other things that you notice. And again, energy healing, since you guys are so new to it, don't discount anything. You may notice a tickle in your throat. You may notice a flutter in your chest. You might notice like some sensations on the bottoms of your feet. You know, all of those things are really things that that your body, there's signals that energy is moving in your body. And so sometimes we take that for granted. We don't notice an itch or something because it's just an itch, but it could actually be an indication that there's something that's happening specific to the emotions that you're releasing. So then in the following days after today, you can write down anything that seems significant, even if you're not sure why. You might just have an inkling that, oh, this is something different. Or sometimes there's really a noticeable shift where you're like, oh, I think about this person, and usually I get angry when I think about them. And now I am not feeling angry and I'm thinking about them, you know. So those are the things that you can notice that this process can actually, you know, shift within you. And then you definitely want to drink plenty of water and get a lot of rest. You may feel a little bit extra tired tonight after this process. And that again is because your body is moving energy, and it does take, you know, energy for that to happen. And so you may notice that, oh, like I just feel I wanted to go to bed early, or I slept really good, or, you know, things like that. That can definitely be a result of moving this energy. Okay. Okay, and so this is definitely a tool that you can use anytime, and practice makes it easier every time. So I do encourage, if this is something that resonates with you, you know, come every month, and you know, you can learn more every month. You can also reach out to me for one-on-one sessions, and or you know, if you have any additional questions, I did share my link to my website on the meetup, as well as you can also like connect with me on Facebook and things like that if you're wanting to do that. Okay, so with all of that said, we're going to go ahead and get started. So I just invite you guys to just relax. Like I said, maybe if you want to turn on some soft music, or if you just want to like dim the lights, try not to get so relaxed that you fall asleep, but definitely take your time to relax. And I'm going to go ahead and start the process. And I will let you know when it's done. Okay. So I'm going to set my intention to clear trapped emotions for this group. And I call upon those beings of love and light that love us unconditionally. I call upon our guides, our spirits, our angels. I call upon all of the ascended masters and anyone who's interested in our well-being to help us with this process. And the first question is there a trapped emotion that can be cleared for the group at this time? Is the trapped emotion in column A? Is the trapped emotion in an odd row? Is the trapped emotion in row 2? Is the trapped emotion we're releasing at this time number 1? Is it number 2? Is it number 3? Is it number 4? And is the trapped emotion we're releasing now number 5? Can we release trapped emotion number 5 now? And so I'm releasing trapped emotion number 5 for this group, for all who are watching on the video and all who are present. Replacing it with infinite self-love, with gratitude and appreciation for this process. And did we release trapped emotion number 5 now? Is there another trapped emotion that we can release for the group now? Is the trapped emotion in column A? Is it in an odd row? Is the trapped emotion in row 1? Is it in row 3? Is the trapped emotion in number 1? And can we release trapped emotion number 1 now? Is trapped emotion number 1 inherited? And can we release the inherited trapped emotion now? Is the inherited trapped emotion inherited for more than one generation? Is the inherited trapped emotion a heart wall? And can we release the inherited heart wall now? All right, we're releasing this inherited heart wall trapped emotion. We're replacing it with infinite self-love, with gratitude and appreciation for this process, through all time, space, and all dimensions, and through all generations. Right, and did we release the inherited heart wall B1 now? Okay, are there any more trapped emotions that we can release now as a group? Is the trapped emotion in column A? Is the trapped emotion in an odd row? Is the trapped emotion in row 2? Is it in row 4? Is the trapped emotion number 1? Is it number 2? And can we release trapped emotion number 2 now? Is trapped emotion number 2 a heart wall? Is trapped emotion number 2 inherited? Can we release the inherited trapped emotion now? Okay, releasing this inherited trapped emotion. Replacing it with infinite self-love. For all time, space, all dimensions, and all generations, with gratitude and appreciation for this process. And did we release trapped emotion number 2 now? Okay, are there any more trapped emotions for this group that we can release now? Is the trapped emotion in column A? Is the trapped emotion in an odd row? Is the trapped emotion in row 2? Is the trapped emotion number 1? Is it number 2? Is it number 3? Is it number 4? And can we release trapped emotion number 4 now? We're releasing this trapped emotion, replacing it with infinite self-love, with gratitude and appreciation for this process. And did we release trapped emotion number 4 now? Is there another trapped emotion that we can release for this group now? Is the trapped emotion in column A? Is the trapped emotion in an odd row? Is the trapped emotion in row 1? Is the trapped emotion we can release now number 1? Is it number 2? And can we release trapped emotion number 2 now? Okay. Releasing trapped emotion number 2 now, replacing it with infinite love, gratitude, and appreciation for this process. And did we release trapped emotion number 2 now? Is trapped emotion number 2 a heart wall? And can we release the heart wall number 2 now? Releasing this heart wall trapped emotion and replacing it with infinite self-love, with gratitude and appreciation for this process. And did we release trapped emotion or heart wall number 2 now? Is there no more we need to know to release trapped emotion number 2? Is this an inherited heart wall? And can we release the inherited heart wall now? Okay, releasing this inherited heart wall, trapped emotion number 2. I'm replacing it with infinite self-love through all time, space, all dimensions, and all generations, with gratitude and appreciation for this process. Okay, did we release the inherited? Yes, okay. Are there more trapped emotions that we can release now? Yes. Is the trapped emotion we can release now in column A? As the trapped emotion we can release now in an odd row. As the trapped emotion we can release now in row 1. And as the trapped emotion we can release now number 1. Is it number 2? And can we release trapped emotion number 2 now? Is there more we need to know about trapped emotion number 2? Okay, I'm going to ask you guys to just take some deep breaths and just focus your attention on, or your intention on, clearing and releasing this trapped emotion. Maybe say to yourself, it's okay for us to let this go. We are safe, we are cared for, we are loved. And if this emotion is no longer serving us, we are ready to let it go from our body fields. Can we release this trapped emotion now? Okay. And we're setting our intention to clear this trapped emotion with gratitude. We're grateful for everything that this emotion has done for us, and we are ready to release it and to move forward with appreciation for this process. And did we release trapped emotion number 2 now? Is there another trapped emotion that we can release for this group now? And is that trapped emotion in column A? Is it in an odd row? Is the trapped emotion in row 1? And is the trapped emotion we're releasing now number 1? Is it number 2? Is it number 3? And can we release trapped emotion number 3 now? All right, we are releasing trapped emotion number 3. Replacing it with infinite love, with gratitude and appreciation for this process. And did we release trapped emotion number 3 now? Is there another trapped emotion for this group that we can release now? Is there another inherited trapped emotion for this group we can release now? Is the inherited trapped emotion in column A? Is it in an odd row? Is the inherited trapped emotion we're releasing now in row 1? Is it number 1? Is it number 2? Is it number 3? Is it number 4? Is it number 5? And can we release trapped emotion, inherited trapped emotion number 5 now? We're releasing inherited trapped emotion number 5 now, placing it with infinite love through all time, space, dimensions, and through all generations, with gratitude and appreciation for this process. Do we release trapped emotion number 5 now? And is there another inherited trapped emotion that we can release for the group now? Is there a heart wall that we can release for the group now? Okay, are we complete? All right. Okay. I invite you guys to just take your time coming back, being present in the room. You may have drifted off a little bit. So just wiggle your fingers and toes and maybe stretch a little and come back. And I'm going to go back to the slide with the see here. Yep, there we go. Back to the slide with the emotions on it. So I'll tell you what the emotions were, and then if you guys want to share your experience or if there's anything that's resonating with you that comes up for you, you're welcome to share that. So the first emotion that we released tonight is column A2, number 5, worry. The second one was column B, row 3. It was number 1, confusion. And confusion was an inherited heart wall. So basically what that means is these trapped emotions are carried in our bodies through epigenetics. If you guys are familiar with that term, epigenetics is really just a scientific term for how the environment impacts our DNA. And the environment includes emotional energy. So this emotional energy can be carried and passed on through generations. And so the second one was inherited by the group. And also it was a heart wall. And so when we see a heart wall come up, that means that through traumas, through traumatic situations, through difficult times, we kind of create like a callus effect over the heart to protect the energy of the heart. And so it's built up in layers, and we can remove the heart wall layer by layer. And so this was one emotion that was in the layers of the heart wall, and it was confusion. Okay, the next one that we released was in column A, 4, and it was number 2, bitterness. And that one was also inherited. The next one was B2, and it was number 4, the lack of control. Okay, after that, we release A1, number 2, and it was betrayal. And this came up again. So after we cleared this heart wall of betrayal, this energy of betrayal came up again. And that's when I asked you guys to just really focus on allowing this to be cleared. So that one was a little bit stubborn. But I did feel a significant shift after we cleared that one. The next one was B1, and it was number 3, insecurity. And then finally, the last one was inherited, and it was love unreceived. Okay. So once again, the intention was set for this to be for everyone tonight who's present, as well as anyone who's watching this, this video. And I don't know if you guys want to share any comments or questions at this time, but you're welcome to unmute yourself and let me know if there's any questions or anything that you noticed that came up for you. Go ahead, Leslie.
Oh, thank
Leslie
you.
first and then Stacy.
Okay. I think I was a little confused in that I guess I thought that we were gonna know what emotions we were gonna be focusing on ahead of time. But it's interesting because all the ones that you went through were ones that really resonated with me. And quite frankly, during the exercise, I basically was crying the whole time because it's just I don't know, it's just been a hard time. But the ones that you mentioned all kind of resonated, and the one that you did twice, betrayal, especially when you mentioned to talk about a goal. My goals were related to alleviating anxiety related to scarcity mindset, and anger towards a person in particular related to betrayal. So
I get chills when you say that. Yeah.
So.
It's a very interesting process. The reason why I use numbers instead of the words, as we sort of develop this process over time with the group, in the group setting, is because I think that our conscious mind kind of gets in the way with when the words are read, and it's like you start thinking about, what does this mean? And the body doesn't really need that input. The body knows what it needs to do. And so we stopped using the words and just started numbering it. And I found that people would get much more profoundly, into the process, for one thing. And then also like have these aha moments at the end. It's like, wow, like this really does work. So so thank you for sharing that, Leslie. That's great.
Thank you.
And definitely the emotional, piece of it, the tears, the crying, I mean, that's really all cathartic, and it is definitely part of the process. I've had many experiences where I just wept, and I couldn't identify why, it's just like, I just know that my body needs to release this, and this is how our bodies are designed to release. So thank you very much for sharing that.
Thank you.
Yeah. How about you, Stacy?
I was just going to say it was very intense. I also cried the whole way through, so releasing that was good.
Yeah, definitely. Wonderful. Well, ladies, thank you so much for being here this evening. I'm glad that you took your time to come and learn about this, and I hope that it's extremely helpful for you. I know that I didn't really introduce myself at the beginning. My name is Crystal, and I'm an energy healer. I have some very organic gifts of healing. I'm a kinesthetic empath, which means that when I put my hands on people, I can feel what they feel. And I can also, when I'm in one-on-ones with people, if their energy is allowing me in, then I can also pick up on that level. It's more of the physical, like I feel the physical sensations in my own body of what they're feeling, and the emotional aspect of it. If there's like grief or sadness, the kind of heart energies, I can really pick up on those as well. Some of the other emotional stuff I don't pick up on, but I just really know what I feel when I feel it, and I've learned to have certainty with what I feel. I can also sometimes in a session with people, notice things that's in their field that's related to like maybe their loved ones or people that are in their life. Sometimes that information comes through for me too, but generally it's a very subtle thing. I may notice colors, or I may get like an image or something like that, and I have to ask, like, what does this mean for you? Because it doesn't mean anything to me.
Right.
And so I've been doing this work since about 2014 was when I got my Reiki certification. And then I know, of course, we're all going through our own journeys of healing and things like that. So as I've been working on myself, healing myself, I'm just kind of growing in this work, and I love it. I love, helping people, and I'm fascinated by how the energy works in the body, and how profoundly the healing can happen when we start to pay attention to that. So I do have a website. It's crystalwillingham.com. And I'm also a certified human design specialist. So I can look at your energy through the lens of human design. And yeah, I've been doing that since 2016. And again, I love it. It's wonderful. And so that's a little bit about me.
That's great. Thank you.
You're very welcome. You're very welcome. And yeah, so you can definitely, reach out to me on Meetup. There's like the chat in there. If you have any questions about what we went through, if you need resources, or if you would like to schedule a time to meet with me one-on-one, we can definitely do that. And otherwise, I will be back next month, same time, same place.
All right.
Thank
I've already
you.
signed up.
Great. Okay,
All right.
well, I'll say goodnight then, and I'm glad that you guys were here, and thank you for being here.
All
Thank
right.
you.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
All right.
Take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
You too. Bye-bye.